Hey, Basuni, I cannot hear you. I cannot hear you.
Can hear me probably يا
Yeah,
طارق.
now I can hear you. Yes.
Hi Tarakosh.
Hi, babe.
We're
احنا
live.
we're live. Okay.
Yes, we're live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter.
And Twitter.
Yeah, we're live on all platforms available. Uh,
بس
and
ده
I
احنا
think the cool part that is going to be now if we see when people come and join us, inshallah. So I want to make sure that I'm able to watch what's happening. So let me check كده. Come and join us, we're live فعلا. So I want to make sure that I'm able to. Yep. كده we are completely live. Now we have 5 people watching. Hi, 5 people.
Whoa.
How are you?
Hey,
ازيكم?
everyone.
I think there's a bit of a delay, but it's working. So whoever is live, can you guys give us any reaction or comment or anything? جامد. We have
Damn.
Hamdi reacting on our video, which is cool. Hi, Hamdi العراقي. So طارق, the idea بقى is cool لأن I realized that this AMA format is there. يعني ناس كتيرة around the world are doing this AMA format, which is
Okay.
basically an ask me anything and everything format, and people would jump in and ask questions. واللي عايز hello رنا كمان is
Yeah.
online. Zoe
Hey,
is
Mo.
online. Yeah,
Hey, Mo. Like, yeah, Mohammed Daris from my company GP. Hey, Mo.
very very
Big
cool.
shout to GP.
Yeah. طيب, do you
Okay.
want to start the conversation كده and let it flow? يعني I had something in mind. قلت we start basically يعني I think that most of if there's some people who are going to be joining us inshallah, I think everyone wants to know more about what this Web3 thing is, what is it, what are NFTs, and what's going to happen in the future and what's coming up next. ف يعني I thought in that would be a very cool space for us from our humble points of view to basically share some of the things we've learned in our myself personally. It's been not a very long journey but a very fast paced short journey. So for the past 6 months I've been engaged in that. I've been trying to learn more about Web3, about crypto, about what's going to be happening. Hopefully, with the internet, we know as if as off from today, والله يحصل قدام. And definitely, يا طارق, أنت you've been one of the main reasons يعني who got me into that, which is honestly a very cool experience. فcan we start with that يا تراكوش? Can you actually tell everyone and actually share كده what got you into this Web3 world before we dig? يعني once we have some people, we can dig in what is actually Web3 and what do we know about it?
Yeah.
What got you into that world? Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, so welcome everybody as well. Like, very happy to be doing this for the first time in my life. So this is like so cool. So basically, like in October last year, my birthday, I have a friend of mine, and he's one of our one of the co-founders as well that we have for the core NFT. He gave me an NFT as a birthday present, and that was such a strange thing because I didn't understand what the hell is that. You give me an NFT, and he's like, yeah, you have to create a crypto wallet and to so I can give it to you. And then like that was like a mind blowing thing
But
for me. Like
he gave it to you as a birthday present. يعني instead of getting you a
is
FIFA 22 disc مثلا, he got you this NFT and told you I got you an
exactly
NFT. And it
exactly
was your
exactly. It
first,
was a
صح?
foxy. It was like a foxy NFT. Like so I can share it with people. But it was like very strange. So I was like, so that but then it was exciting as well. I was like, what is that? And then more and more getting like, and then afterwards I started creating my first MetaMask wallet, and I was like started getting into that world and understanding about the second market and the new projects that are there. It just fascinated me so much, that world, and the amount of people that are so passionate about it, and the amount of the technology of Web 3.0, like how powerful it is and how much it can be disruptive. So as a person who works in management consulting, as always, thinking about, oh, how can we make companies be better, how can we like utilize this technology into the real world. That was just a mind-blowing journey, coming from a profile picture NFT present into like trying to find a way to make it useful for people and for ourselves. It was an amazing journey so far.
Which I think I thought is the interesting part because and if some people know anything about NFTs, most of my personal friends and network yani, were basically saying that this NFT thing is a profile picture in fame. Yes, it probably started like a proof of identity yani profile picture art thing, and then now it's drifting towards an unlimited يعني world of utilities as well. بس قبل بقى ما ندخل I think في الحتة دي, and it would be cool as well from any of the guys who are online, if anyone got into the video كده في النص برضو, note that this is basically an AMA session, so it's an ask me anything session. You can jump in at any time, ask a question on the comment section, and we'll try to catch up with that question and give you any answer if we have, as well as open the discussion around it. Before we actually dig into this specific بقى part of any questions, يعني what do you think is Web3 من يعني after بقى your journey كده, how long has it been؟ بس برضه في الأول يعني
Yeah,
the
like it's
journey is
since
October.
October, so I think
Yeah.
it's coming to 6 months right now. So that is the like the since I started getting into that world. Um, yeah, like I think like blockchain and Web3, like for me, it's like it is be like the idea of like the security aspect of it, and really managing experience through smart contracts, and managing experience through like that kind of powerful technology is like completely different. It's like just changes a lot in the way that we're doing things today. So I think there's a lot of inspiring things, but like I'd say like one of the most inspiring experiences was the Fly Fish Club, right? I don't know if you want to mention that one.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
was,
for
I
sure.
think,
بس اقول لك
uh,
على حاجه قبل ما نخش اصلا في الحته دي, انا
yes,
actually النهارده when I was
I have someone to that is going to join me now. So we have one of our
Yunus.
core NFT co-founders, Omar Yunus,
Whoa.
here as well.
Hi, Yuya. Guys, you're joining from the
Hello,
Netherlands
hello,
in
Master.
Amsterdam.
Hi, thank you guys for having me.
Hi, Yuyu.
You look like you're already having a lot of fun, so I'm not sure what I'm bringing to the table.
We are enjoying the experience alongside 11 people who are watching us now, which
Oh, that's
are
very nice, actually.
very cool 11 people that we love a lot.
Yeah, that
We're
is
just waiting
exciting.
for questions. That's nice
Well
having you,
then,
Yuyu.
wallahi, hello, 11 people. Thank you for taking time to يعني, join us. Hi,
Ramadan is telling you hi,
hi,
Yunus.
Ramadan. Hi.
Yeah.
لا والله very appreciated يعني your time and presence here is really valued. Thanks, guys.
جامد. طب بقول لك ايه, يعني قبل ما ندخل في الحته دي طارق, كنت النهارده when I was reading more about what can we do to basically onboard people to this new thing or tell them about it, I felt in if we start talking right away about what are NFTs and what's Fly Fish Club او كده, هنحس ان اللي هو اصلا what's this whole thing happening. I read a very interesting thing that I really wanted to share with يعني anyone who's here, which is basically about what is أصلا Web3, يعني what are we getting into, which and NFTs and the crypto thing is all part of that. It basically starts with a very simple understanding, and they're saying in Web3 أول حاجة is basically an idea. يعني Web3 for now it's an idea. There is no literal definition. لو حد كتب what is Web3 on Google or on anything, you'll find many زي شرح للايديا دي, بس there isn't something that is solid that is called Web3. And this Web3 thing we're getting into is basically the evolution of the internet as we know it today. But when I digged deeper into it, I started realizing that Web3 means that there was Web2 and Web1. فقلت تعالوا نبدأ شوية من البداية بتاعة the Web 1.0, which is basically the internet when it was born. I kind of got this source that basically sums it up in بيقول in from 91 till 2004 basically this is where everything happened with the development of the World Wide Web or the internet. This is what now we're calling Web 1.0, and it was mostly read only internet. يعني كنا كلنا الشركات والناس والبني ادمين they're creating pages to put in information عليهم علشان الناس. It was a beauty and amazement ان ازاي حد في حتة تانية ممكن يخش as easy يقرا حاجة I'm publishing او حاجة انا بكتبها. ف think of it as a read only web where everyone was super excited to share something and everyone else would be looking at it or reading it. ف do you guys agree to that ولا لا؟ And they specifically said ان هي من 91 ل 2004 which is 91 to 2004 and then some evolution started happening in the mid 2000s اللي هم 2004 leading us to Web 2. بس what do you guys think of Web 1 اصلا؟ Web 1.0.
No, I mean, I don't think there are many thoughts. It is what it is. That's happened. I hate to rewrite the history.
Yeah, I remember when I was younger. When I was younger, I was like maybe like 12 years old, and then I wanted to create a website because I was fascinated about like people like some actors and actresses in Egypt. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna create a website. I'm gonna just put their pictures there, and it was so slow. The pictures took so much time to be uploaded. But then I was so proud just to share it with people. It's like, these are my interests on, and like there's nothing, you cannot interact, right? You just, what you can do is just send it to people on
Exactly.
MSN. Yeah. And then that was it, right? Oh, MSN, those days, right?
Yeah,
So,
I mean, it was the very first iteration, right? That gave people the ability to communicate. It was very limited, so not everyone was able to write, and it's mainly linked to the data being stored in very central locations, so that they can be accessed.
لا بس كده you would be jumping to Web 2 صح؟ لأن قبل ما يبقى الداتا. سامعني ولا إيه؟
سامعك. I said no.
No.
And because I mean, I'm to my understanding, and of course, as you said at the beginning, it's an evolving space. The definitions are being written and clarified. We went from read only data is very central to the rise of corporations, social media, and in general, a lot of platforms. So even before Facebook was there, that was already an option where you were able to post a lot of your content, start to write a few blogs. MySpace was there years before Facebook existed. And the start of Web 2 was a lot of giving people a lot of ability to contribute to the content, and the shift of all this information and data being in very central few hubs to start being owned by corporations in still central way, but a much bigger network of a lot of central nodes, right? And then these corporations, they did give you the ability to express yourself and communicate with people and write content, but they also now became the people who own this information, this data, hold the responsibility to host it and have it on their servers.
And they control as well what they want to show or not صح؟ يعني they control.
Yeah, correct, exactly.
Yeah, no, I think بقى ان that's what you said is super cool. لان summing up Web 1.0, I think what I've read that caught my attention يعني is in Web 1.0 users were consumers. Users كانوا بيفتحوا pages يبصوا على information يقروها, and they were more of consumers. ما كانش في اي interaction مع البيجز بتاعتهم دي اكتر من ان I want to see this information, I want to know. زي ما طارق كان بيقول كده مين الارتستس اللي هو بيحبها مثلا, فحطهم على ويب بيج وحط صورهم و it takes me ages for the image to load. بس زي ما انت قلت بقى with the data piling up, we started the age of Web 2.0, and what they said as well in this article, which was super interesting, and that's the age of targeted advertising and lack of privacy. Since 2004 until now, احنا as users we're not only consuming the data دي, but we're actually engaging with it and writing more data and creating more content. بس الداتا دي كلها are centralized زي ما انت قلت عند corporations, while احنا نفسنا we really don't care what we're losing when it comes to privacy او كده, لان it's new يعني we don't اصلا know what's digital privacy لان it was still evolving. and that's how all the centralized big corporations زي فيسبوك او ميتا او تويتر او whatever او اي حد in general holds our data and gives us whatever we want. يعني a very simple example in my news feed or my feed on Facebook is completely different than my wife's feed, for example, than my kids feed, لان everyone is getting specific data from a centralized mindset يعني ليهم. I think does this
Yeah.
برضو kind of sum up Web 2 ولا ايه رأيكم؟
Yeah, yeah, I agree with you. And Hazim was talking high five, like that platform took some time of his teenage. I remember that this was like I think that was the platform before Facebook for me. But at that point, everyone can access everybody. So there's no one, it's not only your friends can access your pictures and stuff. So it's like free for
Yeah.
all. Yeah, that was crazy times. Yeah.
Then the tricky part بقى is what is Web3 then? And MSN,
yeah.
Hamdi is saying MSN as well. Remember when we started actually engaging and communicating, instant messaging started happening. وactually كان في بتاع تاني MIRC. I remember it. High ASL age. Yeah, I remember this clearly. We had these conversations. يعني as Egyptians, as a young teenager Egyptian, I was super fascinated that I'm meeting people from everywhere in the world. And the fascinating part وقتها was actually their nationality. يعني age 6 location. I am 12 male from Bangladesh. I really want to have a chat with you. I really think that was Web 2 for sure.
So
it was also a period where people expected that if you're coming from Egypt, you were living in pyramids. And it was a very different age, right?
Yes.
People asking questions about camels. The discussions even we were having not only were the platforms or the tools there more primitive, but even the discussions and what people expected out of you was a whole other world. People knew nothing. We're taking this for granted because it's such a short period that all of a sudden we started having an unprecedented access to abundance of information, right? Like really like abundance of information that we can't possibly get a hold of. But before then, no, people just didn't know anything, and it's phenomenal, right? And we take
that
that for
was basically phenomenal as well for our generation, I would say. يعني I'm personally 32. I think our age lived it all. يعني I was born in the 90s. 91 the internet started, Web 1.0. I remember in 94 95 my dad got us our first very big desktop where we really didn't know how to do anything on it except get some things and see our fingers type letters on the screen, which was super cool. And then we started evolving that even ourselves. يعني احنا كمان were the generation that lived Web 1.0, Web 2.0, and now we're starting to ask ourselves the question of what's coming up next, because now we know something is coming, but we want to learn more about it. يعني I think it's interesting as well.
Yeah,
طب يويو,
I
I
think
want to ask you a question
actually,
طارق,
just
regarding
one comment
Web3.
before you move to the question, because I mean we did live through it.
Yeah.
But the weirdest part is it's really difficult when you're in the middle of it to grasp how big of a difference this could make. And now we know NFTs, Web3 is going to be revolutionary, but can someone pinpoint exactly how it is? No, we're still taking it step by step. The whole space people are exploring. They're taking it industry by industry. Oh wait, we can do this. Oh, we can also do that. Oh, it's very hard when you're in the middle of it to do it. When Web 1 started, people were like, yeah, there's no way we're giving up TV and radio and this internet is going to be a thing, because you don't realize what it's going to be like with everyone connected. And then the same happened a few years, a bit over a decade later. And then Web 2 came and there were social medias. And everyone was like, yeah, those are just a bunch of kids, blah, blah, blah. This is not going to go anywhere. And then those became some of the biggest corporations in the world, right? And then the same thing is happening now by the majority with Web3. I was like, no, that's not going to happen. These are just pictures, for example, or these are just fake money. And you get the same pattern. And even the people who started, okay, maybe there's something there, and they started emerging, everyone is still just discovering bit by bit. I was like, yeah, this is possible. Wait, this is also possible, right? it's very exciting actually to be part of it, and I think anyone that claims to really see where it's going it's very hard. We can only just try to think ahead كده, envision what it could be, do our best, and ideally try to write that what's coming.
Yeah, I'll come back to this actually later. Maybe we can close this live session في الآخر by actually every one of us sharing what does he think الفيجن بتاعت Web3 هتعمل إيه. And I've been thinking a lot about the future of work and how people can actually get on Web3 and change the way we do things. Maybe because I'm always now in this venture capital world and seeing startups وكده, I think this is going to completely change. Maybe by the end we can share شوية about that. But can we start with my understanding, and that's برضه what I read, is that we know that the beginning of Web3 started with the blockchain technology. So there's blockchain, and this blockchain technology started availing what are the opportunities that can happen, and this is where we're going to Web3. فحاسس ان قبل ما ندخل على what's Web3 as we know it now, what's the blockchain technology. I remember Tariq and Yunus, both of you actually had this very simple شرح كده to it. If you say it, Yunus, you can say it.
What is blockchain? I can explain it simply, and I always laugh that it. When I realized it really is a chain of blocks. I think this for me was a bit of a funny realization. I'm still a kid at heart, but that got to me, and then I started digging deep. So, okay, what are the blocks, and how do they become a chain? And basically, blockchain is a new way to store data. And it comprises of blocks that are all linked together. So each block, imagine a cube that you can insert any data in it, and it has one data, it has two something called hash, and three something called previous hash. Right, so those are the three components that comprise a block. The hash is basically the ID, the tag of that block. And the previous hash is the ID of the block that comes before that in that chain. And this hash and previous hash are basically what connects all the blocks which contain that data in them to each other. And it might sound very simple that it's only three things with the blocks that are connecting to each other, but it's really very different because based on only these three things, people were able to change completely how data security is being run, how authentication is happening, how you can ensure that there's no fraud and trust. So it's one of these situations where it's, I don't want to say small change because I don't want to underplay it, but it is a simple concept, yet it's absolutely brilliant. It's very disruptive.
ممكن أقول حاجة لأن I really, when I first understood that, it kept on being challenged automatically في دماغي إن هو طيب لأن I think the link is حتة بقى اللي دايما في الآخر كده إن the beauty of these blocks إن they're not all saved in one computer, in one server, under one centralized. يعني think of in my profile on Facebook is a block. It has some information وانت طارق block برضو ويونس عنده block of information. بس the beauty of what this blockchain technology got us to is in all these blocks, in order for us usually to have them and link them together, we needed Facebook to build a bigger box and say, guys, open up your blocks عندي. So all the blocks are stored somewhere. وما كانش فيه طبعا الفاكتور بتاع هو البلوك ده منين لان احنا كلنا في بلوك واحد. I think what the blockchain brought in simple terms in these blocks are not stored centralized في حتة واحدة, yet are stored on computers all over the world, all over the internet. وكل بلوك على ايا كان اللوكيشن بتاعه فين عارف البلوك اللي قبله ايه. You can actually create a Facebook with everyone having a block containing their profile, yet you don't need a big server عشان تحط فيه ال1000 بلوك دول. انت ممكن تحط بلوك عند بسيوني في مصر وبلوك عند حد تاني, والبلوك اللي عند طارق ويونس مثلا في هولندا عارف ان البلوك اللي قبله هو البلوك بتاع بسيوني. And this is how this decentralization happens. فطارق ايه رأيك في ده؟
I think you guys are summarizing it in a good way. I think what blockchain has brought is like security, right? Like it's the security part and like that you're they can have a specific ID and everything, but at the same time, like it brought transparency. So I think this is what I love about blockchain, that everyone can see any transaction that has happened, right? Like this wallet or this number, what is the amount of transactions that they've done since they entered that blockchain? So there's purely very transparent system. And then the third part is the resilience, right? Which is like, okay,
بس هو ليه
it's not gonna
ترانسبيرنت
fail.
برضه يا طارق؟
Huh?
ليه ترانسبيرنت؟ ازاي يعني؟
Okay, ازاي it's transparent in like on the
Yeah.
blockchain, like
بالظبط، علشان it's on a chain that no one owns. يعني التشين دي
yeah,
برضه
exactly, because
محدش
nobody's
فينا
trying.
بتاعته هو.
Exactly, it's not owned by anybody. Nobody is controlling how the data is being basically and what kind of transactions or anything. Like it is basically like an organic thing that everybody's contributing to, and everybody can see what's happening to it. So it's amazing, and the resilience of it, right? Like today, if Microsoft, one of their farm in the US got hit, like big part of the US is going to be affected. But in the blockchain, if even half of all the nodes got hit, still the data is going to be safe and it still is going to operate, which is, you know, really impossible to hit it. Right? So that's why I think it's so powerful that's why it's disrupting a lot of the concepts and the things that are happening today in our daily life, right? So, or it was going to do, it's going to disrupt, not disrupting much.
It already started أكيد بس
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. طب that's بقى what we believe is going to be changing Web 2.0, which is the age of targeted advertising and users not caring about privacy and data and actually feeling okay so they can engage into something that we believe دلوقتي looks like it's going to be more decentralized, more secure and more private. صح؟ بس برضه what's Web 3 يعني how will it be بقى يعني do we know يعني an answer to that يعني when someone asks you what is Web 3
I think it's like that's the part which is like trying to define it at the moment, right? It is like the most ridiculous thing to do, right? I think the beauty of it, it's like we're drawing a picture of what this is going to be. Trying to put it under one label or one name, no, it has features, but I don't think it's yet created, right? So the beauty of Web3 that it doesn't have a definition, it just have a lot of basically attributes of what it is. And we're enjoying that journey to define how's that going to impact us and be the definition of Web3, right?
Yeah, so, makes sense. بس هقول حاجة يعني أنا قبل ما نخش بقى لأن I think the fly fish thing kind of gives an example of how can Web3 happen اللي هو it's decentralized and we're creating value. بس قبل ما نخش في الحتة دي I think in Web3 لما حد بيسألني دلوقتي بقيت أوصل لconclusion بقول لهم Web3 is the internet as we know it for the next 10 years, something that's still be going to happen for the next, I don't know what many years, but in the near future, the internet is shifting towards something that is called Web3.
Yeah.
And what I know, and it's not only about the exchange of engagement, يعني لو الأولانية كانت read only exchange of information, وتاني واحدة was exchange of reactions and engagement. I believe that Web3 is going to be about the exchange of pure value. The exchange of value as in the ability for me as Basyuni, for example, as a content creator, which is how this NFT thing started with, right away. أنا content creator, أنا واحد بيعمل صور، واحد بيعمل أغنية، واحد بيعمل talk show، بيعمل whatever. It was super hard to create value right away and get it. أنا أخد الvalue ده كcontent creator on Web2 لأن I still needed to find a platform owned by someone وأمشي بالrules بتاعتهم وأوصل لمثلا verification I don't know what so I can make value. While in reality what's happening now on Web3 ان لو انا كبسيوني دلوقتي عملت اغنيه وانتوا الثلاثه عجباكوا عايزين تشتروها you'll be able to buy it as in now and I will make this value. So I believe Web3 is the exchange of value. That's what I say for now. But I really don't see I still want to طبعا know ده هيحصل ازاي بس ايه رأيكم في ده؟
Yeah, and I love how you put it بصراحة يعني and I was listening and I was enjoying how you put it. I think one of the main reasons this is the case is going back to a point that I think you mentioned also very clearly is now you own your data, right? So now that you've created that song, you no longer require the middleman, the coordinator, the entity that was in the middle, be it YouTube, for example, to put on a song or so. You're not reliant on them. Now you're able to directly get into the blockchain, which is basically you're also putting data, but it's everywhere. It's not owned by someone. You actually own it. You're able to monetize it directly from a lot of people. So the fact that you owned the data helped you monetize it directly, helped you reach the 3 people that you said that bought your song a lot faster, because we didn't need that. And in the case that you also decide that you want to move from one application, so whatever is going to be the new place to host these songs on Web3, I think this is the very impressive part, is if you decide to move from that application to the other one, well, you now own this data. You can actually just take it with you and move it to the other application and try to monetize it in a different way, right? So you're no longer bound to it, and you're no longer losing all the effort that you put it in building that YouTube.
It's the time for creators, right?
It really is. It's time for everyone that's
everyone is a creator يا طارق.
to do it
احنا we're
without
اصلا we're born creators, not consumers. بس our technology
But
was making us engage and basically create حبة عند
That's
حد centralized في حتة. انا عارف يا يونا لما ندخل على النقطة دي what you're saying كمان الحتة بقى اللي دايما كليكس قوي with me is ان تخيل ان الثلاثة دول اللي هم my early believers اشتروا دلوقتي. the cool part برضو maybe we can put in some يعني slang كده ان اصلا for my song علشان اديها للثلاثه دول I really need to put it on the blockchain بشكل او باخر. ف I need to mint it علشان الناس دي في ثانيه تفتحها وتشوف تلاقي ان هم they can take it. ف if I mint the song وحطيتها, the beauty كمان is ان انت بقى as my audience you just bought this song now. It wasn't as easy as انت ممكن تديها لاختك بكره and she owns the song. احنا كنا كلنا بنخش نشتري الاغنيه على اي تيونز مثلا ونفضل نسمعها بعد ما بتزهق منها بتبقى اغنيه قديمه. It's in your library. You can't sell it to someone else who's now مثلا listening to it for example. حته برضو ان الويب 3 ده هيخلينا في ثانيه كده ان if I own something and I don't want it, هي حتى مش I don't want it, هو if I own something on a chain where everyone sees it and there's anyone on the globe عايز يشوفها, he can actually request مني يقول لي بقول لك ايه ما اشتريها منك او تحولها لي في ثانيه. and in a click as well you transfer ownership of assets. ده احنا we did not consume assets. احنا كنا بندفع فلوس في حاجات اكيد مش assets. انا بشتري ألبوم على اي تيونز, بشتري حاجه في حته, بس ده مش asset. الاسيت ده عمري ما هعرف اديه لحد تاني, عمر ما حد تاني هيعرف يشتريه مني. بس it's now as easy as انا عملت اغنيه عبيطه and you guys are my biggest raving fans, you will be able to buy it right away. and if someone knows ان انتوا علشان انتوا الفانز الجمال بتوع بسيوني اغنيته العبيطه and they really want to get it, they can with a click ask طارق ما تديني الاغنيه دي وهدفع لك فيها جنيه ونص اكتر, which is super interesting يعني. ف it's not only from the creator side ان انا هعرف اخدها في اي حته ومش هضيع مجهودي, هي already on the blockchain وممكن اعرضها هنا واعرضها هنا واعرضها هنا, بس as well من اليوزر بقى. اليوزر ما بقاش بيكونسيوم consumption كده for nothing. they can consume things and turn them into assets that people can value later يعني, which I think is very cool.
Yeah, and also the ability for you to, and I'm trying to avoid also getting into details, but some of the things that you're saying, I'm gonna just say the term smart contract, so I'm not gonna get into details about it. Some of these things that you're saying, being able to lend it to someone or sell it to someone else, you're able to execute a lot of agreements and contractual agreements automatically when you're doing these things, right? And then as Basuni, who created that song, you still own some royalties and you're still automatically earning from transactions that are happening, and it's effortless, seamless, and automated, right?
لا بس قول الحته دي بقى سيمبلي يعني ايه. يعني انا لو انت حد من الثلاثه فانز بتوعي باعها لحد تاني او حد اشتراها منه, in the contract itself او اللي فيه هيرجع لي اوتوماتيكلي فلوس. يعني I can say ان 10% من اي حاجه حد هيكسبها ترجع لي انا عشان انا اللي عامل الاغنيه, صح؟
royalty بتاعتك. So you can create that as part of your smart contract. It's like, what is the royalty, right? It's like you put certain terms that protect your rights. That's why I think it is the era of creators, right? Like creators were always the ones that need to have a broker, need to have a middleman, need to have like a manager. You need to have lots of things and lobby to be able to showcase their art or their creativity. And now you don't need all that, because all that bullshit, you can secure your rights and you can still really enable this kind of art or whatever to go like very easily to people, right? So shall we have some questions from people?
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah,
يعني
it's
anyone
really
برضو
important.
who would
And now, and by the way, guys, if we're boring you, let us know, but kindly, because
yeah, you can give us a thumbs down وهنحاول جاهدين
Get us
نرفعها.
thumbs
no,
down.
no, we're doing this. We'd like to help as much as we can. If anyone wants to know something or has a question,
Yeah.
we're,
And
we're
if
happy
someone as
to.
well would be watching this feed later, لأن that's the cool part, we'll be doing this very يعني regularly. So anyone would leave a question on this video even after we're live would actually be doing this probably in a couple of days and we'll get back to these answers. So try as much as possible to push in any questions. وهسألكم أنا سؤال طيب لحد ما حد يسألنا سؤال, which is basically what's a smart contract؟ يعني إيه smart contract؟ What makes it smart؟ من وجهة
Yeah.
نظركم.
So we cannot like what is a contract, right? Like in the
بالظبط.
first place, right?
Yeah.
So like I think like a contract in a simple terms is like you have two parties that they have something that one party wants to take from the other. It's a service or a service or a product or whatever, and they put a contract in place to secure their rights. So this party is gonna take from one party the X of service or product, and the other party is gonna give him something in return. And basically that contract is protecting your rights. So if something goes wrong, you should take that contract and basically go to the judiciary system, wherever you are, and try to claim your rights, right? So that is a contract. So a contract involves the two parties, the lawyers, the registering the contract into the in whatever country you are. So basically registering the contract that it's acknowledged by that system. So will you be able to claim your right if something goes wrong? So that's a
ماشي. So
contract
it's an agreement. Contract is an agreement between two parties.
between two people to do that. Right? Like, and it involves all this kind of complexity, right?
Yeah, it's a bunch of terms that governs the relationship between two parties,
Oh,
right?
What's a smart
And
contract?
once you make it smart, so that's really that's the I think we fixated on the word that's a bit more common knowledge, but I think it's really necessary because the smart part, a lot of these things, just like I said, yeah, blockchain, it's really a chain of blocks. Like a lot of these things, they really just name them very simply what they do, right? So the smart contract, in a way, it has many smart features which allows these terms that are between the two parties that are in this contract to be executed once a certain event takes place, right? So we agreed, like Tariq was saying, if I'm going to give you X, I expect you to pay to me Y. So this is a term and this is the trigger. When I give you this, you pay me this. Now, this is something that's able to be done in an automated way. So once Tariq provides the service X, then that contract can execute automatically to take from my digital wallet or from a bank account or whatever the Y amount that was agreed on and transfer it to the indicated wallet or to the indicated party. So it helps having these terms to be enforced in an automated way.
ممكن بقى اقول حاجه هنا يويو. I
Yeah.
believe ان برضو the secret sauce to that in it's not about the ability of execution. يعني think of an ideal world where كل الكونتراكتس بتاعتنا we're able to go to jurisdiction ونعمل ونحل يعني whatever. I think the idea of in this contract اصلا is available for everyone right away. Everyone can see it right away, see their terms right away wherever they are, and we really don't need to have it في حته واحده. يعني برضو احنا when we think of it as buy or sell services, maybe we're thinking commercially, بس تخيلوا ان this is marriage certificates. الناس كلها بتسجل الجواز بتاعها في كل حته في العالم, and we really get really fucked. So people know that we're married somewhere else. When you go there, you want to prove that we're married and we issued this certificate. تخيل ان الكونتراكت ده, that's a contract between two people. I want to tell everyone we are together. Everyone can know it right away on the blockchain if this contract is smart and it's put on this blockchain, and the whole marriage system of the globe or the كوكب is just subscribed, so everyone can see it as a log. فحاسس ان the secret sauce to how smart this contract becomes when it's put on the blockchain is not only in that we're able to really know what are the terms and execute on them automatically, but as well it's decentralized. كلنا في اي حته and it's still valid. فعشان كده برضه انا دايما متخيل ان الويب 3 ده مش هيغير بس الحاجات الكوميرشال بتاعتنا وكده، حاسه هيغير التامين الصحي مثلا، هيغير الجواز في العالم، يعني لان
Yes.
بسهوله انا ممكن يعرفوا كل حاجه عني في اي حته دلوقتي يعني. وبرضه we can give people an interesting thing. So anyone who's more into this world, something I've learned برضه in the past couple of months was ان يعني ايه بقى بنقول اي حد يقدر يشوفه ده، as in every blockchain network، اي بلوك تشينز كتير متركبين في بعض ليهم سكان ويب سايت كده، يعني تخش مش عارف ايثر سكان، بوليجون سكان، اي نتورك من دول someone can just write in scan, put in an address and know everything. نعرف سنوب دوج ده معاه كام دلوقتي، واشترى ال NFT دي بكام اول امبارح، واشتراها من مين ده، وكلنا عندنا الاكسس ده. يعني it's not scary، لان برضو على طول بنفكر ان هي كونتراكتس ليها علاقه بالفلوس، فايه ده هيعرفوا كل فلوسي؟ لا، it's not about the money. بس انا دلوقتي علشان my identity is linked on a chain ومحطوط فيها حبه حاجات، اي حد هيقدر يشوفها. if I disappear somewhere and someone knows that this is my hash, my address, they can actually get onto it right away and see everything that has to do with me, rather than ان هم كانوا زمان بيقعدوا يدوروا ده مين ويعرفوا ازاي وهو في انهي سيستم وتبع انهي بطاقه وتبع انهي حاجه. ف I think that's super cool بصراحه. محمد رمضان بيقول حاجه interesting. Let's read it يا طارق.
Yeah. So imagine using smart contracts to prove property ownership instead of being a victim of fraud. People can see ownership and the record in updated and decentralized way.
100%.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with you, Mohammed. Yani and it is so fascinating how now the people are using blockchain and I'm going to use another terminology, maybe tokenization, into the ownership of apartments and ownership of real estate. It is very, very disruptive because you remove a lot of the middleman, you secure your rights, and it is so strong. So I agree with you. It's super cool example.
Yeah. لا يعني imagine محمد يعني the real estate is going to really be like NFTs, the tokenization that Tariq mentioned. Now real estate developers are going to issue NFTs instead of all the hassle. And if you want to claim the ownership to one of the properties, you need to buy the NFT instead of going into a lot of hassle. And whoever has that NFT in their wallet, it is linked to a smart contract that proves that they are the owner of that property. And I mean, I'll give you one extra step of information. We can have multiple NFTs linked to one of the properties. So then we have multiple people. So it's shared ownership of a certain property. So that's also another step, because when it's so easy to prove who owned what and how it's moving and everyone can see it, then you start actually getting more value, giving more value to people and making their lives easier. So
it's amazing. And then you can find like example in the US, one company, I was attending their podcast and they're talking about the tokenization, and what they do is like, because you hold that contract, smart contract, you can still get, they're using it as an investment. It's for in commercial real estate, so they can get money. So that smart contract guarantees for you the monthly income back to your wallet, because that's part of the agreement that you have in place. And then you can take it in one set without that any terms or anything. You just come and sell it to someone else because you invested in it, the value of it increased. You want to give it to someone else that thinks of it as a higher value that fits their investment portfolio, and you go invest in something else, and you can do that in a matter of like hours, right? So no, it's very disruptive. I completely agree. I love the example of real estate. It's
بس تعالوا بقى، بما اننا يعني we had to bring up jumping from smart contracts, we had to bring up the conversation of now the use of these smart contracts بشكل أو بآخر. One of its very clear applications بقى is this NFT thing. An NFT في الآخر is probably حاجة built on a smart contract. So what's an NFT? And then probably the Fly Fish Club example would plug in at this conversation to just basically get us to how they use this NFT to actually create value في الحقيقة. What's an NFT? Let's start with that. We all know it's a non-fungible token, 3 كلمات ما حدش فينا كان يعرفهم قبل كده. ونان يمكن كنت اعرفها. fungible
none.
wasn't a funny thing for me. And token was not
Even
there.
when I
What's
translated
non-fungible token?
fungible, honestly يعني أنا still a bit lost يعني.
fungible كانت كلمة عادية رائجة بالنسبة لك، يعني أخدتوها في
No,
الفوكابيولري.
we
Yeah,
didn't. We didn't. Yeah, I've never
nah,
heard,
fungible. Yeah,
we
I
never
didn't
heard
know
this
fungible
word. No.
طبعاً، لا.
But
But
I
what's a
think
non-fungible
I think
token?
it's cool to say what is a fungible and what is not fungible, right?
بالظبط.
Because I think that's what is interesting about NFTs.
What's the token? The token is the contract, صح؟
The token is no, it's not the contract. No.
Yeah.
The token, it's basically a very long address of a lot of data. يعني think of it as you're replacing a token. So this is a symbol for a string of letters and numbers and data. That's really what's behind the token. It's data that's linked to it. And why it's non-fungible token, it's because then this set of data, which we refer to as, for example, hash before, but this string of data becomes non-fungible, which means not replaceable or
Very
unique.
It is unique,
right?
yeah.
So fungible means interchangeable, right? So you can use either one. So the most commonly used example is usually if you take an Egyptian pound, right, and another Egyptian pound, they are both interchangeable. If you go anywhere and you give someone one or the other, they know that it's the same value that they're getting, and there's no issue.
So this is fungible.
However, yeah, exactly. However, if you take that into two paintings, you know that every painting is unique, right? There's a lot of work that was put into it, and you can't just take one painting and put the other after it. And I think the painting example, I don't think a lot of people resonate with, and I think what is a bit more clearer is really the fingerprint, right? Each one here has a unique set of fingerprints, not even one, but has a unique set of fingerprints. No one's fingerprints are the same as yours, and you can't just use this instead of the other. So if you want to secure a laptop using a fingerprint scanner or a phone, no one else's fingerprint is going to open it other than yours.
Yeah.
Right? So that's why it's extremely unique. It's something that nothing similar can exist in its place or replace, right?
So your
that's
fingerprint
something-
is non-fungible. No, like actually,
Yeah.
I really like what Yunus said. I think that's the pure explanation, right? Like fungible tokens is similar to the currencies that we have, and this is what as well similar to the cryptocurrencies, which we all hear about. They're all fungible. One Bitcoin that Tariq owns in Egypt is the same one Bitcoin that Yunus owns in Netherlands, the same that Basuni owns, whatever. So everything is fungible in that as a currency. The non-fungible part is when it presents a unique element, right? This is something that is unique, non-repeatable, and this is where it brings different type of value because it is not something that everyone else can have. It is very unique to you when you own it. So that's the biggest difference, right? Yeah.
Yes. But I'll take the uniqueness part and maybe bring it to another حته. And I completely agree يا طارق ان if we want to understand what NFTs are, then maybe we want to understand يعني ايه اصلا fungible tokens. فلو رجعنا شويه بالكلام اللي يونس قاله ان في بلوك تشين وبلوكس كتيره متوصله ببعض، كل بلوك بتقول ايه اللي جواها والادرس بتاع اللي قبلها والادرس بتاعها هي. بس الكلام ده they used it بقى to basically link it to money, link it to value, put a price tag on it. فطلعت كوينز كتيره او بيتكوين whatever. بيتكوين كان اولهم وطلع حاجات كتيره، بس طلعت digital currencies that are basically built as blocks في البلوك تشين ده، وكل بلوك بيقول انا عندي value x والبلوك اللي قبليه ايه والبلوك اللي بعدي ايه، بس it has a price tag on it. And this is what cryptocurrencies are. They're fungible tokens. They all have a price tag. حته بقى ال NFTs, non-fungible tokens, are things you can still put on the blockchain, but not with a price tag on. مش very clear price tag. يعني they might not, by the way, be one of unique, one of billions. لأن yes, my fingerprint is non-fungible, ملهاش value. لو أنا فيها بمليون ممكن حد تاني ياخدها مني ب100، ممكن حد يقول دي بولا حاجة أصلا. It's 1 out of 7 billion sets of fingerprints. That's why it's unique. بس maybe تضحكوا على إيه؟
that your fingerprint is like a non-fungible, that maybe I will not pay that much money for. I'm just teasing you. Just teasing you.
Tara is not buying
By the way,
it.
it has value. But I think برضو in the non-fungible part of it, and it's something I'm registering that
Yeah.
doesn't have a price tag on it. we're gonna set its price based on احنا عايزين نعمل ايه. بس it doesn't really have a direct price tag on it where everyone can agree on ان الشيء ده ب10 دلوقتي. لا, it will start somewhere like a painting, like تخيلوا كده يعني what I برضو it's very interesting.
It's
اللي انا
the value,
فهمته من
the
الart
value
اللي
of it.
كاتبه ده انا ما
The
عرفوش غير
value of
بعد
it is
الزمان.
how it's perceived, right? I think
Yes,
like
exactly. فهو
exactly.
كتب
So
الصور بتاعته دي ما كانش ليها اي قيمه لحد ما مات and then things happened and then اكتشفوا ان الصور دي غاليه فشخ, احنا عايزين الصور اللي هو كان راسمها وهو عيل صغير. فهو in reality when he drew the images او the very cool paintings او كل حاجه, this was not it's not fungible في كل الحالات, هو ملوش قيمه, you cannot put a price tag on it, بس it wasn't registered anywhere. دلوقتي بقى التكنولوجيا هتخليني ان I can put anything and tokenize it while it's now non-fungible and doesn't have value. Maybe if people later on discovered it هيعرفوا يحطوا لها الفاليو مثلا
yeah,
قدام.
but I think that there's a bit of like, I think this one application of it, right? I think the angle of that is one of the application of it, right? Because non-fungible uniqueness can come and be applied to various different things, right? I don't think on art it's clear because that's the one that everyone has been using. The Mona Lisa is the Mona Lisa and it has its own thing. The importance why NFTs is having a value, I think this is what's important, is that digital presence and your digital brand now, it is so important for everyone, right? Everyone cares about your followers, how many people are liking your videos. This is the new era that Web 2.0 put us in, right? So now, like, digital assets, bringing that and bridging that in the art world as well is bringing a lot of value, right? Like, you're putting your music, you're putting whatever, it's very unique, you're the only one who created it. So now it's becoming of a value that NFT helps you to have, preserve its uniqueness, preserve your rights, and you can achieve, like, activate a smart contract for that NFT. But at the end of the day, I think it is as well perceivance of value, right? You cannot say it's only one versus the other. So I think that's why maybe I disagree a bit with Basuniat. I agree from an specific application standpoint, not generically. Yeah.
No, so I have one point to add. Yeah, I don't know why I limited myself to one point. I have something to add on that.
It's just 1 point.
Yeah,
You said 1 point. That was your smart contract for 1 point.
I dug a hole for myself because so the NFT is the way to identify something, right? So let's not mix two things together.
Mm-hmm.
So what the fungible tokens, which we mentioned before, where it's a digital currency. So a currency in definition is a way to hold value and exchange it. So NFT it's not the other side of that coin. Those are two separate things. The NFT is a bit more. It's the unique fingerprint or token that links you to certain contracts, certain agreements, certain set of information and data, right? And the value of this, yes, it's perceived. The value of everything in life is perceived. However, its value it's not about the NFT. It's about the contract and the things, the data that is linked to it. So I think Muhammad Ramadan mentioned earlier, like you can have the NFT as your own home, and there are no more fraud issues because everyone knows if you have this NFT, you're the owner of the home. But I can't come and say it doesn't have a value, it only depends on what you do. No, it has a value because it indicates your ownership of this home. So the price of the home will be defined by the market, but this NFT's value is a home, right? That is there. That is debatable. You can debate how much I want to buy your home for, but it has a value that links it to the home.
I think Mohammed is saying something very interesting. Yeah, they are interchangeable for other items as they have their unique. They are not interchangeable for other items as they have their unique property and characteristics. Yeah, like so. I think that's a very good way to summarize that part, right? Because again, like right now, I think people focused a lot on the art part because of how it started, right? The NFTs part started by the CryptoPunks example, comparing the CryptoPunks to the Mona Lisa and everything, and people get into that art part. But as Yunus mentioned, it's now has a much deeper utilities behind that, right?
Yeah. So because I now started reading actually because I saw the Muhammad Rahman wrote more comments. So the before last one, because I think the example that you said where NFTs are perceived, and I think that's a very common mistake that people think NFT is perceived because it's just a picture or an art. I think so. What Muhammad Rahman said, like this is applicable for the collectible art part, where you can have the NFT. It's linked to a certain collectible, which could be the Mona Lisa painting or one of the examples that you're saying. And yes, in the segment of collectibles, value is extremely relative for how much that person really wants to hold that collectible, right? So the value of something that is in that collectible area does fluctuate a lot more. But I was just a bit concerned of putting that as a blank statement. No, the NFTs are really a way to link it to certain ownership of something, and then the value of that, whether a collectible art or a house, or could be a marriage, which you can't put a price tag on anyways. It could be anything, right? So
yes. And I think this is where Fly Fish makes it easier for me to understand. لأن it started with زي ما انتوا قلتوا كده art, so creators put art, and now they have the ability to put this art on the chain and tokenize it, and everyone would have access to it. And some people would say, I love your art and I want to hold it, هدفع فيه حبة فلوس وياخده منك, and other people would buy it from me. So they started making owning a Mona Lisa thing much easier. And no one can own a Mona Lisa. في حكومة وميوزيومز وناس وماني وبيدز وكده. لا، ولو المونا ليسا محطوطة and someone has the money for it, ده بالعكس غالبا الفاليو بتاعها هيكبر أكتر بكتير من اللي اللوفر دافعوا فيها. And everyone still would have access to it, so everyone can still see it, but there's only someone who owns it. It started with art. بس بقى the fly fish utility example is cool. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, so I think that's the thing. Like the NFT started as like the profile picture, like they call it like PFPs, right? And then I think the fly fish was, I think, like a lightning, like a bulb that came to our team, right? Which is like so there's this restaurant in New York that is if you guys heard about this guy called Gary Vee, is one of the like best marketeers in the world, and he's like a top ambassador for entrepreneurship, and basically like people take him as he symbolizes entrepreneurship for them. So this guy, he got into NFTs mid last year, and then he created with a very strong team of the best restaurant managers or restaurant people. Yeah, I don't know. And basically one of the best sushi chefs in the world. They decided to create the Fly Fish Club, right? It's a club. It's basically a restaurant in a prime area in New York. So it's amazing, right? Like super cool club and everything. And they decided to put a membership card, but as an NFT. So basically, if you want to access that club, like, like have access to specific perks in the club, like be able to go to the lounge, be able to attend the events, everything, but still you're going to go there, pay for the food, but basically have access to that club. If you're owning that NFT, you will have that premium experience in real life, right? So now it's not anymore about a profile picture. This is like you're owning something that's going to translate into a real life experience that you start using with yourself and your family and your friends. And they launched 2,700 tokens for people, and they sold like the token for $10,000. And guys, they went in a second. So basically these people were able to sell something from the NFT world, right? And the restaurant is not yet open, put it on the market. People will really perceive the premiumness of that experience, paid so much money for it, and then when the restaurant is open, they're going to start utilizing. And the other perk is, if you're owning this, you can lease your membership to someone else. So for example, if I'm owning that token and Yunus is going to New York for a month with his wife, I'm going to say, oh, Yunus, you can lease it. I'm going to lease it for you, let's say for like $5,000. So it became even a source of income. So that whole part was very disruptive, right? That I think was like a wow moment for us, that, oh, wow, this is not a profile picture anymore. This is actually represents an experience in real life. It has a utility. And this is where we thought, okay, that technology and that concept have endless options and endless opportunities. Yeah. I don't know if you want to add anything from that experience, but that was unlucky for us. We tried to buy one, but then we didn't manage. Yeah. So we were really unfortunate. So, but we went through the whole experience till the point of trying to get it, but yeah, it didn't get through. So, but yeah.
Yeah, it's I mean, it's unfortunate. but because there were already restaurants. There's nothing groundbreaking in them starting an exclusive fish or sushi restaurant. There were already membership-based entities, so that also wasn't the groundbreaking element. But the NFT technology allowed them to take that membership concept and implement it in a significantly smoother way, and add additional functionalities to it. Right. So currently, memberships are very hard to track, hard to manage. You need to issue these membership cards, renew them every now and then. You have a lot of fees in it, and I think whatever sports club or any entity that you refer to, this is, you have a membership card, and the hassle of maintaining that and ensuring that it's being implemented correctly. Now, once they took that into the blockchain and formed it as an NFT, one, it can't be tampered with, so no one can fake having a membership card. No one can try to sell it to someone else. There's nothing that can be tampered. There are the 2,700 memberships that were issued, as Tariq mentioned. These are the only ones that exist, and you're able to track each one of them and what's happening in it. So you have records, you have history, you have transparency that was not there before. Secondly, which besides making everything easier, you can start adding new ways to bring value to it. So, and I think that I want to re-highlight the example that Tara was saying. The ability to rent a membership is something that would have been extremely hard to do with your membership card, or even not possible in most places, right? You want to get that, you're not sure, was that card stolen, was it not stolen? What does it even mean to rent it? What are the exact privileges that this gives, right? But once that is transparent and you have all the information and the data in front of you, it's a lot easier to get that done with only one click. Once this is done, the agreements or whatever money that is requested for the leasing, it's already automatically transferred from me to Tariq. So the process becomes seamless. And for the people managing the card, managing the restaurant, whoever holds the NFT, they know gets X amount of these rights. You get access to this area of the restaurant, and you can have X amount of guests that can accompany you. So the terms are known. Once they scan it,
yeah,
regardless who you are, if you hold it, you get these rights.
And imagine like the possibilities as now a restaurant owner, right? Like a restaurant owner that is providing that premium experience. I do not need to be in New York to purchase this, right? Now it became to be, okay, I want to own this because I can monetize it, get money out of it. Like it opened possibilities into value that was beyond that. A restaurant is only dictated by where it is and where it is located, right? And that is, like, again, very disruptive for that industry in itself, because people don't. I think it is a very cool example. I think we have a question there.
Yeah, we have. Yeah,
that's a good question.
I know you, so I won't mention your name. But
You know him.
actually, that's a very cool
You made
thing.
this
That's what I can
unnecessary
mention.
mistake.
Is IT is a childhood friend. يعني we used to be مع بعض في المدرسة until maybe the age of 10, and then I shifted schools. So I think we have been disconnected for like 10 years, and Web3 is now getting us. That's the second time we, alhamdulillah, connect in the
His
past.
childhood improved after.
And really, لا, يعني we were like
That is
desk mates. يعني we were desk mates for like 6-7 years.
That
So
is cool.
yeah.
That is so cool.
You're
So
asking, is there a difference between tokenizing and minting, or are they used interchangeably? Also, once an NFT is on the blockchain, how would I target potential buyers? أنا هجاوب من اللي أنا عارفه, and then maybe Tariq and Yunus can say. From my understanding, tokenizing and minting might be the same thing for now. It's like I mint something, I have it on the blockchain. That's from my understanding. Maybe not technically. يعني the action of minting something is not the action of tokenizing something. ده الحاجة اللي مش عايز أفتي فيها. But for me, they're kind of the same. يعني something is on the blockchain, which gets you to the second question. If I minted or tokenized anything, how would I target potential buyers? فاللي انا عارفه برضو is there are a lot of open secondary markets that اول حاجه there are two cool things. The contract itself of what you are minting, you can put in part من الكونتراكت ده تقول ان اوتوماتيكلي اول لما حد يشتريه يبقى موجود متاح لاي حد on different secondary markets. So you really do not need to target potential buyers, but automatically once you buy this thing, it's available for secondary buyers right away. They know you own it and it's already on a blockchain. فthat's one thing I know of. الحاجة التانية إن even if this is not there, you can still list it on secondary markets. That's something I know as well. So you can tell people I have this address on the blockchain اللي فيه قيمة دي، الصورة دي، الممبرشيب ده، التوكن ده، البصمة دي or whatever, and you can still list this address on different marketplaces if any are interested in the specific item. يعني if we're using anything لو هنقول membership cards for gyms, so might be a marketplace for membership cards for gyms اللي انا ممكن اخش اقول لهم I still own this address and you can put it. So I would say once an NFT is on a blockchain, how would I target potential buyers? The NFTs now that we're speaking about, Flyfish and مش عارف and the core NFT and the Bored Ape Yacht Clubs, once you own it, everyone else knows you own it. They would give you a notification seconds later. يقول لك I want to buy it if there's a potential buyer. So everyone knows you own it.
I think it's about the platform, right? That maybe like so I see. I don't know your name, but like I think so. I think the second question part, like so far there, because again the NFT started as PFPs, as profile pictures, right? And this is what OpenSea, and now there's other things, which is OpenSea.io, I think. So this is basically a secondary marketplace where people put NFTs from everywhere. Not even NFTs. You can put a picture and you can put it there and sell it on the blockchain, right? You like, like you take a picture of your dog and you can put it there. So basically an NFT there, wherever you do it, you put it on the secondary market. Now the harder part is how these secondary markets can demonstrate, okay, this is a picture, but what is really behind the picture? And this comes back to our initial idea, right? That Web 3.0 is still in development. So right now you do not have like NFT marketplace specifically for the restaurants, or this is specifically for services, or this still it's all together in this OpenSea. And then what people try to do is through OpenSea, you can see your website, what they call your Discord, which is your community app that you can engage with your community. And this is where you try to explain to people how can they get beyond this NFT that they've bought, right? So this is something. So I think this is in development, and I think we're going to see a huge disruption in that space because there's very little buyers. Like OpenSea, I think started to boom in the last year, and the last year they had like more than $200 billion going through them. And for the last month alone, there are $50 billion of sales only on it, but that was not there a year and a half ago. So I think that marketplace part is going to change a lot. But I think as just to answer your question, if you have an NFT, you bought it, you can put it on OpenSea, and then basically other people can buy it. But there's more to be explained there about how it's done in a safe way. Again, blockchain can have a lot of scams as well. People can scam you and, in a certain way. So you have as well to know the right way to do these things if you're still new to this. So just be careful there. And hopefully we're going to be able to support as well in our future videos, or if you have any questions afterwards.
We're happy to help.
You
started from the second question.
I start from the second question.
Okay, so let me then take the first question. Tokenizing versus minting. Yani think of it, and I think I'll continue on the real estate example. We were just discussing the NFT can be tokenizing real estate or can be tokenizing collectible art and so on. So what does that mean? Oh, actually, Gary.
We should have Gary for that. Actually, I was thinking about him, that he should be the best person to answer this.
Well, definitely have Gary is برضه يعني طارق, you definitely should introduce Gary, and actually let's read his comment and follow.
Yeah, I'd love to read his comment, and I'm actually very happy he joined. Next time it would be nice actually to bring Gary on camera. I don't know how comfortable he is.
Yeah.
I'm also happy what he wrote was the answer I was going to say. So I was like, okay, saved myself the embarrassment. But
so read it out,
so basically I'll read out what Gary is saying. So tokenizing is the process of creating the mechanism that enables ownership of something to be represented on the blockchain, which is mostly about NFT and smart contracts themselves. And I'll try to put this in slightly simpler terms. Basically, we look at the NFT, at the real estate industry, and then we say, hey, everyone is owning a real estate, and there are lots of issues because of fraud, which was now actually mentioned as an issue. You have to go to court. It's a hassle to manage really who was owning this from when to when and who has rights to it. So someone comes up with the idea and says, hey, why don't we try to tokenize this industry a bit, which means start introducing some new ownership mechanisms or new ways to clarify the rights in that industry and make them in a form of token, right? So you're changing really a business model or a way to approach the industry itself. So a simplest example is, hey, if you have this token, you own this house, and it can get more complicated to start. Yeah, a lot of us own a lot of tokens that are investing in many houses, and we're renting them out to get money. We're splitting it based on something in the tokens. So we're changing how the industry works. The minting is more of an operational step to get this done. So we're done خلاص in tokenizing real estate, and we agreed that whoever owns a token, it represents their ownership of this building, right? So we want to create this token, right? We want to create this token in a sense of put it on the blockchain. The process of putting it on the blockchain is what is called minting. So in Gary's word, minting is creating an instance of that token from the NFT contract, which basically making sure that this is
very clear
there in the blockchain and is technically done. And I mean, minting is a concept that was there already before it, but think of it مثلا you can have a contract, but until you go to the notary الشهر العقاري and register it, this is the step that is needed to make it official and make it there in the legal system and drive the rights from. You have an NFT, you can create it, and you need to put it on the blockchain.
بالعربي بقى وببساطة, I believe that what you just said and Gary explained is if I want to tokenize my
بالعربي يا سيدي
ايه
يستسهل بالعربي ببساطة.
لا انا هقولها وكملت بالانجليزي صح. لا هقول لو انا عايزه توكنايز عيد ميلادي مثلا, انا بعمل عيد ميلادي كل سنه ودلوقتي عايزه توكنايز, فهقول انا هعمل هخلي الناس كلها ما تخشش عيد ميلادي غير لو معاهم التوكن ده. ففيرست I want to tokenize الحته دي, فهكتب كونتراكت وهحطه على بلوك تشين معينه, وهقول يا جماعه اي حد هيمنت الكونتراكت ده, يعني هياخد منه النسخه بتاعته ويبقى عنده التوكن بتاعه في محفظته, يقدر يجي عيد ميلادي. فتوكنايزنج ان انا كبسيوني اعمل الشروط بتاعه عيد ميلادي ده, واحط الكونتراكت او الانفيتيشن اللي كانت كل الناس بتار اس في بي عليها, احط الانفيتيشن بالديتيلز باللوكيشن على البلوك تشين, وهقول لكل الناس in order to mint you have to mint it علشان تخشوا, ما انت لازم يبقى معاك التوكن كوين عيد ميلاد بسيوني ده عشان تخش العيد ميلاد. فانا هعرف منين بقى ان انت جاي you need to mint this contract, تاخد your version of it, which Gary mentioned as creating an instance of الحته دي. يعني ياخد زي ما انت قلت يا يونس ان هو خلاص كلنا ككومباوند حطينا والله لو عايز تشتري روح الشهر العقاري يسجل, يبقى انت معاك وحده من الحاجات دي. فالمنتنج اذا ان انا اروح اخد واحده من الانفيتيشنز دي, فانا هتوكنايز عيد ميلادي, هقول فيه 500 توكن, انا عايز اعزم 500 واحد, ولازم بقى 500 واحد يروحوا يمنتوا التوكن ده من حته علشان يبقى معاهم. كده بقى في 500 واحد معاهم الكوين بتاع بسيوني فيعرفوا يخشوا بيه عيد ميلاده. واحد بقى 501 نفسه قوي يجي عيد ميلادي, وبعدين حاسس ان اللي هو ايه ده, ما 500 واحد خلاص ما فيش توكنز تانية, وهو بسيوني عامل 500 اكشن, فيروح رايح لواحد بقى من ال 500 دول على طول يقول له ايه, ما انا هشتري منك عيد ميلاد بسيوني ده, بقى تحصل في ثانيه. فذاتس برضو what brings the power of ان انا if I tokenize عيد ميلادي people can actually create value وانا عازمهم ببلاش. في واحد هيموت قوي ويجي وواحد actually اشترى كوين وهو مش جاي او طلع له حاجه, he can give it to someone else and take in a part of the value عشان he was an early bird.
حلو اكزامبل العيد ميلاد,
مبسوط ان العيد ميلاد
حلو اكزامبل العيد ميلاد.
عيد ميلادي قريب يا جماعه, كل سنه وانتم
طيبين.
انا شايف انا افكر العيد ميلاد الجاي بتاع بسيوني نحط NFTs.
انا عيد ميلادي كمان اسبوع, يعني I'm on the 13th of April, انا ببدا
معلش اللي جاي بقى بسيوني ان شاء الله نعمله لك على البوليتون بلوك تشين.
طب يا جماعه لو حد من الناس اللي بتتفرج علينا اول هيتفرجوا بعد كده عموما انه انا قررت هتوكنايز بروسيس عيد ميلادي, وانه انترستد انه ينفست او يمنت ال NFT بتاع عيد ميلاد بسيوني, I think that would be a cool thing. Anyways, طب تعالوا ندخل اكتر في ايه ده. ITL ده شهر عقاري analogy is the first thing that came to mind now. You clicked with IT يا يويو.
Nice. I'm
طب
very
guys,
curious
can
about
we
IT
actually
now
بقى try
with the weird
to shift
introduction you
شوية to
mentioned.
what we're doing? Maybe we برضو introduce it now, لأن what we're doing is we're trying to bring what we've learned through بقى an NFT that people would thank you Zakaria, through an NFT, and people would own this NFT and get some perks as well, so they won't own this NFT وهيبقى ليهم علشان زي ما طارق كان بيقول في فلاي فيش كلاب يبقى ليهم access للمطعم ده. احنا we're creating this NFT and we want people to have access as well to different things. Do you guys want to shed a light to that and what core NFT is giving people access to or what we're trying to create?
احنا بص يعني what we've seen right now in the world واللي شفناه في العالم كله, what's happening at the moment, that NFT is becoming to be very disruptive, right? And the amount of traction it's taking is crazy, and we believe that the Middle East is really did not catch up with the world right now. فاحنا we wanted to bring a community of people together that are going to be like enablers to bridge the gap between Web3, which whatever we explained right now, and the real world applications that in our, like basically how can that change our daily life and improve our life and improve the people and the communities around us. فاحنا we believe احنا كلنا لو انتوا تعرفونا او انتوا if you don't know us, we all come from ISIC. We really care about impact, we really care about people. So we believe that the power of a community can be so strong if we have the right people that are interested to learn, invest, find ideas together to actually bring these kind of ideas to the world. So the NFT, our core NFT is basically creating that first club, that first syndicate, that community together, and each NFT holder is going to be part of that community. And we're trying to be quite selective and bring really the right people there. We're not interested in people that are interested to come in there for a month and then leave. We're really interested in people that really want to be part of something that's special. And how are we going to add value to these people? يعني النهارده انت جبت الكوميونتي together, بس the community does not know about anything about Web3. ما الناس دي هتعمل ايه؟ ما الناس دي مش هتعرف to add value. So that's why we're focusing on three big things. One is education. So how can we educate people to be part of this world? How can we educate people to interact with this world and like be able to interact with it in the rightest way, in the safest way? So the education part, and understand all the different terminologies, NFT, decentralized finance, how can I mint, whatever, all these lovely terminologies, which is very confusing if you're entering to this world for the first time. It can be really hard for you to grasp what all that. So a very huge element around education. Second part, market intelligence. This world is changing so much so quickly, it's hard to just take any action. So we want to focus and work with Eunice and the team into bringing market intelligence and really bringing some analysis, some simple way to explain what's happening, so you as an NFT core member are able to take an action. That action is whatever interest, you read, you try, invest, whatever, but basically for you to be able to understand what's happening in this crowded, very complicated world if you're an external. And the third part is about investment. All of us want to invest in this world. This world is making so much money, it doesn't make any sense for you not to be part of this. So we want to create investment opportunities, which is called liquidity pools. So it's one of the concepts that the blockchain bring to us, which is you creating a pool of investment together to be able to put it into investing in NFTs or any other forms of Web3 opportunities. So we bring that together and we make sure that it is done in a very democratic, decentralized way, that the community owns the decision, is not owned by us anymore. That's it. So basically we want to create that community and empower them, invest so much in them. So from there we can find hopefully many ideas created by us, and most importantly created by the community themselves, about Web3 that is inshallah changing Middle East and Africa daily life. Yeah. So this is I don't know, does that make sense or is it very complicated?
It makes sense. It's very nice. Thank
cool.
you, Alvaro.
Okay, good.
No, it makes a lot of sense. I love analogies and metaphors. Imagine there's a World Cup coming up or an Olympics, and we don't have in the region a team to play. It's a disaster. What we're trying to do is put a team together.
Oh yeah.
I think this is we were trying to bring the team, and what Tara was saying, trying to be selective or not have people slacking. We just want to put together the best team because we want to be competing. And once you're in that team, you can expect everyone within that team or the community to be helping each other to learn together, because it's an evolving place. And everyone also in the founding team will go the extra mile to provide all the materials, the resources, and everything that everyone needs to learn. So we're also catering for that. And ideally, that team is going to be investing in the whole digital assets or the building of new projects in that whole new scene and landscape. So in Web3 together. So that's basically what we're trying to do. And the game is building the new. I don't want to say Facebook or YouTube or whatever. Building all these new new applications and new platforms based on this technology. So, and the whole community is going to do it together, and we are now working on the tools to help all the community members learn, work together, invest together.
Mohammed, I think, asked a very interesting question in message. Do you want to?
Yeah, Zakaria, yani, thank you for the question. Can you give a simple example NFT 101 for dummies, where to start, how to start. اول حاجه هقول لك عليها يعني www.corenft.com. join our Discord. We have a very cool educational portal that the team just يعني actually published a couple of days ago. Super cool. كل حاجه فيه links كده. نفس الاسئله دي. NFT 101 ايه ال NFT، ادخل اعمل ازاي، اشتري ايه. ف that's one thing that's basically we're trying to create يا زكريا. يعني احنا what we're trying to do اللي هو اول pillar is basically زي you get membership to this part that gives you access to ثلاث حاجات. واحد, a lot of learning, not the basics بقى NFT 101 بس كمان, ان علشان العالم ده is really decentralized, and طارق and the guys and us اما لقينا opportunity ان احنا نشتري جزء من المحل بتاع نيويورك بتاع السمك worth 10,000, الكلام ده is a lot of information, so you get to learn a lot, not only about how to start but about بقى what to really follow and what to invest in and what to يعني the learning and education part is something that's going to be evolving. ودي أول حاجة. تاني جزء I see يا طارق من اللي انتوا قلتوه is more about connection, is ان انا اعرف الاقي ناس بتفكر في اللي انا بفكر فيه فنعرف نكونكت ونكو-create things together. وتالت حاجة بقى which I think is interesting قوي 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 and easy to explain is the investment part, and we can invest together. الموضوع بتاع Web3 وال NFTs ده يا جماعة خلانا very very simply speaking كده نقدر نتريد على أي حاجة بسرعة. يعني الواحد علشان كان يجيب ستوك في أبل كان بيتعذب علشان يشوف هيعمل إيه. Now if we want to buy 10% of المطعم اللي في نيويورك ده, it's as easy as we just have our wallets already set up بنستخدمها في حاجات تانية. كلنا نعمل liquidity pool اللي طارق قال عليه بسرعة ده. liquidity pool ده حاجة كانت زمان ازاي كلنا نشتري يا جماعة شقة في مدينة نصر ونأجرها, it was super hard. دلوقتي الموضوع لو الشقة دي are 10 tokens وكلنا كده او 1 token احنا 10 جمعنا فلوس حطيناها في wallet liquidity pool واشترينا الشقة دي, it's ours. لان هو الكونتراكت الوالت اللي فيها الفلوس بتاعت ال10 بتاعتنا اشتريته. ف maybe that's the third part, and we will give this community access to invest together in much cooler things. فبدل ما نعرف ازاي نشتري حاجه ب $250,000 في نيويورك بتحصل النهارده واكشلي بكره عارفين ان هي ب 300 وبعده ب 350, the Mona Lisa of New York, we can actually group in 1000 واحد ونقول لهم يا جماعه كل واحد يجيب 2 جنيه, بكره بقينا عندنا الموناليسا امه 2 مليون ونص دي. ف maybe that's the third part. Just to give a quick كده recap, we have it's a membership to a community that gives you access to three things. Education, ازاي نتعلم اكتر ونعرف العالم اللي احنا كلنا بنحاول نكسبيرينسه ده ونتعلمه ونبقى من الايرلي ادوبترز بتوعه, نبقوا اهالينا اللي جابوا الكمبيوتر اول ناس مش اهالينا اللي جابوا الكمبيوتر بعد 7 سنين. يعني نحاول نجراب من الاول. ف we educate ourselves. الجزء الثاني is to connect and co-create value. فانا عارف ان يونس في هولندا عايز يشتري حاجه ونعمل مع بعض بروجكت على ايه, we can actually meet up right away and connect and we have direct access to each other. ف that's برضو a perk that is usually not there. تخيل انت على a big for example واتساب جروب عليك كل الناس اللي interested في اللعبه اللي انت بتلعبها دلوقتي حالا, فتقدر على طول تقول لهم يا جماعه تعالوا نعمل ماب جديده ونلعبها. they would go co-created right away with you and play it. واخر حاجه is maybe ازاي نقدر كلنا بقى ككولكتيف كبير of individuals بس were represented on the blockchain عدل, how can we all invest in things and create opportunities for us to make money and actually de-risk the investment. So بدل لما كل واحد مش هيقدر يشتري غير حتة صغيرة أو حاجة that is worth $5، لا إحنا كلنا هنروح نشتري الموناليزا. we're de-risking ال5 جنيه بتاعتنا. ف I think maybe برضو that's another كده intro of the 3 pillars the core is trying to be يعني giving. زكريا I hope إن إحنا نكون جاوبنا عليك، ويا ريت تكون دخلت على الديسكورد، أنا هراقبك النهاردة يعني بقى هنعرف كل حاجة. Any more questions أو حد تاني يعني عايزين يا طارق برضو نحاول نقول شوية ازاي we're trying to create the value of core للريجن. يعني احنا برضو كلنا we're 9 people. We're all from the region except our expert, the guy who gave us the secret sauce في الأسئلة اللي جت دي, Gary, who's our 9th co-founder, and he's the only not based in the regional member. كلنا actually we're all Egyptians, وكلنا عايشين في حتت مختلفة, so we live in 5 countries, وكلنا عايزين نتعلم ايه الويب 3 ده ونعرف ايه هو. and then we started following بقى examples زي اللي بيحصل بره, زي ناس عملت fly fish ده, زي ناس عملت حاجات تانية, ولقينا ان في الويب 3 ده it's really as simple as let's start it and get people who are interested زينا في one community, and then that's where we felt and this is how core started, and then we started creating بقى ايه اللي احنا ممكن نبقى عايزينه. فاحنا عايزين نتعلم, قلنا education و learning دي اهم حاجه, وعايزين نتعلم باللغه بتاعتنا كمان, لان على فكره دلوقتي يعني اللي احنا بنقوله ده might be, او at least انا متاكد ان اللي انا بقوله ده is مثلا واحد كان بيقوله من سنة ونص يعني we're behind, يعني we still don't have enough knowledge, we really are hungry for that and we don't have enough sources. فقلنا زي يبقى عندنا knowledge, ومش احنا بس, يبقى عندنا الكنولج دي بالعربي واكسسبل لكل الناس, مصريين, سعوديين, اماراتيين, whatever, جزائريين, كلنا نعرف at least we're all common في العربي, زي ما ياس بقينا common في الانجليش, بس العربي برضو لسه حاجة مهمة جدا. فنعلم نفسنا education انجليش وعربي. حاجه التانية ان احنا مادام بقى زي ما احنا التسعه كده جنب شغلاناتنا وحياتنا, we're trying to find the decentralized manner, وقت من حياتنا ان احنا كلنا نقعد مع بعض ونقول we're interested, وعرفنا نعمل ده جنب حاجات كتيره بنعملها. فلقينا ان there's a lot of space to co-create value as well. ممكن انا ويونس نبقى عايزين نعمل موضوع شقه مدينه نصر دي, طارق ومين عايز يعمل عيد ميلادات, مين عايز يعمل حاجات, في examples كتيره اكيد more evolved عن كده, بس the co-creation of value I think كان مهم. والحته الثالثه بقى ان احنا كلنا يا زكريا زيك كده, يعني كلنا عارفين ان احنا عايزين نinvest وعايزين نحط فلوس. لو حد معاه جنيه زياده عن we want to do something with it that is not the traditional, بس مش عارفين نعمل ايه. we thought as well ان this community would have the power ان احنا create a lot of investment opportunities for us as a collective, and we get in a very very smart contracty way our returns right away once anything happens.
بس السينيور مش بس كان حاجات اللي هي تبقى عن طريقنا احنا, هي الفكره زي كده انت تتعلم حاجات كتير قوي عن كل الابريفيشنز وكل الديفينيشنز ديت, عشان انت برضو انت بنفسك ممكن تروح تاكسبلور مع ناس تانية وتلاقي, بس هي على الاقل انت مش بتكسبلور وانت مش فاهم حاجه, انت بتكسبلور وانت you have knowledge behind you, you can ask people that you can trust, you have a strong community كده اللي انت هتعرف تعتمد عليه عشان حتى انت تعمل your own investments. فat the end of the day بص فكر فيها ان احنا again that's why we really يعني قاعدين بنحاول, هي power of the community, الكولكتيف community ده قوته مش موجوده في الميدل ايست, واحنا في الميدل ايست we want to bring it. ف this is يعني that's why we think the region زي ما يونس قال كده, في وورلد كاب بيحصل واحنا ما عندناش فريق, فاحنا we need to be the team, مش we want to be one of the teams. and برضو حاجه احنا عايزين نقول عليها, احنا مرحبين باي حد بيكريت بروجكت زي ده, احنا عايزين تيمز كتير قوي في الريجن, عايزين كرياتيفيتي في السبيس ده كتير قوي. فاحنا مش يعني انت لو انت بارت من كور ده مش معناه انت بارت من كور بس, المفروض تبقى بارت من كور وكل بروجكتس ثانيه ان شاء الله تكون موجوده في الريجن ده اللي عندها مبادئ كويسه وفاليوز كويسه وفاهموا بتحاول تاد فاليو از ويل. ف
هو ده الرد يا طارق يتهيالي على زكريا, لان برضو maybe when we describe it as a team, think of it more يا زكريا, this is not a job, this is not something we're doing. فكر فيها كده ان احنا when we say a team we say the collective power of الناس اللي على جروب واحد. فعارف الواتساب جروب بتاع لعب الكرة بتاع رمضان, who really doesn't get active except قبل رمضان باسبوعين, وتلاقي الناس كلها بتقول يلا يا جماعه هنعمل ايه ومين هيحجز الملاعب ومش عارف ايه. That team. يعني what we're trying to create is this group of people, and this group can create a lot of value. So it's not a time job هتخش فيها or a side hustle or a core business. It's basically being part of Gold's Gym. بس بدل ما you have access انك تروح Gold's Gym تلعب حديد, you have access انك تروح تفتح Gold's Gym, which is our portal بقى, our Discord. Everything is happening on Discord. It's kind of a very cool communication and networking and information platform. فانت هتخش على الديسكورد ده بدل لما تروح سمارت جولز جيم. كنا بنروح بقى نتمرن مثلا حديد بس, لا, now you can learn on this Discord thing او have access انك تتعلم حاجات كتيره. الحاجه الثانيه you have access انك تدخل على جروبس وتلاقي البلاتفورم دي شبهك عايزين يعملوا معاك حاجه. يعني انت you like handmade مش عارف ايه stuff, you'll find people doing that everywhere who maybe want to tokenize it. فاهم؟ earlier on that's the idea, ان احنا بنفكر ازاي نوصل ناس ببعض interested في حاجه who really might have the ability to tokenize this thing and make some value out of it. والحته الثالثه يا زكريا is ان احنا بقى ازاي برضو في جولز جيم ده هنروح علشان نقرر النهارده ان احنا هنinvest في البروجكت الجديد اللي جامد قوي, مثلا الشركه I don't know what هتعمله. ف you get access to this community where you have these pillars, بس you don't really work for it. و if you slack, هي دي بقى الحاجه كمان, ان احنا كنا كلنا على فكره ممكن نشتري الممبرشيب بتاعت جولز جيم. جولز جيم نفسه ان كل الناس اللي بتشتري ممبرز دول يبقوا كلهم بيج رامي ويخشوا جوه يعملوا حديد فشخ ويصوروهم وكده, بس انا اصلا كنت بشتري وبسيب الممبرشيب بتاعي. the beauty as well is ان في اي وقت I'll be able to use it, so it never expires. It's a one-time thing, access to the community. الحاجة التانية ان I can lend it to someone else, maybe lease it, or better sell it right away and get it tomorrow. انا ممكن ابيعه بكرة وبعد بكرة. انا اختي عايزة تروح الجيم النهاردة بس she was never a gold gym member, she can buy it from me today, تروح بكرة بالتمرينة الجامدة قوي بتاعت بي فيت واشتري منها بعد بكرة. So that's as well part of how you can join this core NFT thing. It allows you as an owner.
Yeah. Just to be clear for the core NFT, just عشان بس برضه for our project specifically, you cannot lease your NFT as of today. You can only buy it and sell it. فانت ممكن تشتريها, ولو انت خلاص وصلت الفاليو بتاعتها او الفاليو بتاعتها عليت في الماركت عشان احنا بنحاول ننفست فيها جامد وانت قررت تبيعها, انت هتبيعها حد تاني, انت هتخرج من الكوميونتي ده, واللي هيشتري مكانك العضويه ديت لو التوكن دوت هو ال NFT دوت هو اللي هيدخل مكانك. فبس احنا we don't have a leasing mechanism او تأجير يعني. just I wanted to clarify كده عشان الناس ما يبقاش في misperception بس.
صح.
Yeah, makes sense يا طارق.
Yeah.
makes sense. بس انا برضو عايز اقول ان اللي حلو برضو ان الممبرشيب دي is not احنا we're not gonna be يعني their amount of membership. يعني الناس تقول لك طب ما انت you can always give in more people access, how would this have value? لا, the people who are going to have access are the people who are one out of, let's say, 10,000 that are getting into this now, and these 10,000 have access للجولز جيم. بعد كده الواحد الزيادة he doesn't really have access yet, so he really wants to buy from واحد من 10,000. And here natural selection would assumingly happen, and that's why value keeps on going. And people want to get in, but it's a limited amount of spots, and we cannot host everyone on this thing, at least for now. So you try to make sure and the people can keep on trading it, and everyone gets the value they want at the end of the day. Maybe برضو that's an edge to bring. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to create this community that has a limited amount of spots where we all are trying to come in and bring in value and learn, co-create value, as well as invest together. Any more questions from the group? We've been live for ساعة ونص, and I think that's super cool. يعني got a good job, Yunus. Thank you so much for helping me. لو كنت لوحدي غالبا هبقى أكلم نفسي.
Thank you for hosting.
Yeah, thank you for hosting a message. Yeah, really amazing.
بس وهنعمل ده كتير. I'm really حاسس ان انا مبسوط بصراحة, بس عشان انتوا معايا, so every time I'll try to bring someone in. بس I want to ask كده one last time, يعني we still have some people, very cool crowd يعني viewing us. Any more questions before we close this feed, or any feedback you guys want to give, قولوا لنا على طول. Well, I promise personally I'll try to be doing this يعني at least once a week. with the برضو today we didn't actually get to the AMA concept. That's what they do everywhere in the world now. Ask me anything about what I know, I'll give you the value. فmaybe later هيبقى نقدر أكتر، يبقى we have more value to create and people will come in with questions. When's the next session؟ جامد. أنا مبسوط قوي يا IT إن إحنا we're connecting after 20 years of not connecting. Very cool.
تمام.
قريب هبعت لك انت دايركت مسج دي ام هقول لك عليها.
No, I think this is a different session. يعني
لا طب
Thank you.
مين تاني؟ anyone else's comments؟ يعني I'll give it كده 10 seconds and then I'll try to oh actually 30 seconds and there's a very cool thing we can do and then we can close. فلو عايزين تقولوا اي حاجه في اخر 30 ثانيه يا شباب امستردام. احنا الساعه عندكم كام دلوقتي؟
It's the same time. It's the same time zone. 10:36. ايه ده؟ 11:36. Sorry. The London time zone. لا I don't have anything to add بصراحة. I think and overall and I'm happy that you took this initiative and hosted it at Basuni. I think it was and and also huge thanks to everyone who joined. يعني now we're still starting this project. It's still in the very first steps, and you guys taking time to attend this and ask us questions and engage with us is it's really amazing. It's encouraging, and we genuinely want to help, and we're happy to help. But even after this space, if you guys want to approach us, you have Discord. Hazem sent the link to it. Join, ask us questions. There are already some people who joined. You can ask them as well. A lot of them have a lot of knowledge that they're happy to share. The ball already started rolling. Things are happening. Join the Discord, ask your questions, and yeah, I mean, if you don't like it, you can always leave. But I promise you, there is something there, and it's worth checking out.
Yeah. Excitement, Yunus. Thank you. والله and I'm super happy for that, and I think احنا إن شاء الله we will try to definitely do this a lot and definitely try to share more about what we know. أنا personally I've been I call myself a permanent beta كده في تخيلي إن أنا بحس دايما إن أنا I really don't know how to dig deep into something غير بالوقت وبالاكسبيرينس وما بعملها كتير. مش من النوع اللي بيعرف ياخد الحاجه كده على طول ويذاكرها. I keep on learning really every day and my learning becomes experience once I'm practicing it بشكل او باخر. I'm super excited to see how we're all evolving. As a team we're 9 people and we evolved في اخر كام شهر دول قوي, and I'm sure ان everyone else is gonna hopefully join us in this evolution and we'll all evolve together into people who really know how to bridge what's now happening in our daily lives to this Web3 thing, like the very cool idea of tokenizing my birthday, which hopefully I'll be doing very soon. And yeah, yalla, let's call it a night. Thank you, Tariq. Thank you, Yuya.
Thank you, Basis. Thank you all. Have a good night.
Thanks, everyone. Guys, I can't believe we're still going to close and people are still viewing. So can you close so we can close? I don't know how to do that. It's not like a Zoom call. مش احنا بس في ناس تانية. I don't know. But guys, bye bye.